Welcome back. Welcome back to the Kovacs Report. You can tell I'm excited. You know why? Well, it's Wednesday, which means the new books have landed. It's time to kick off those reviews with Absolute Superman number 13. Yes, DC are knocking it out of the park, this book. Can't wait to dive into it. Jason Aaron, Rafa Sandoval doing what they do. And look at this cover. You've got Superman absolutely flying through the flames and smoke and explosions of Lazarus tanks that are just disintegrating and melting behind him. Absolutely exciting stuff. Now I'm going to go through it page by page, so there will be spoilers. So read the book beforehand if you don't want to spoil, and like the video if you can, and just hit that subscribe button. It would be amazing if you did. I'd really appreciate it. It would help the channel, and I can keep making these reviews. Now, look, guys, I never used to get excited by Superman, ever. I like the Elseworld stuff, the sort of more non-canon stuff, let's just say. But it wasn't until Absolute Superman where I actually look forward to it every month. It's so good. I love this Superman. I absolutely love it, even though he's a miserable kid, you know. Apart from that thing, you know, I'm very happy with this Superman. Now, let's dive into it. Now, like I said in the intro, Lazarus are invading Smallville. There's nothing but Superman, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen, and some townsfolk with their, you know, pitchforks and shotguns to protect it. So what happens? Well, between last issue and this issue, 6 weeks have passed. The tanks have rolled down Main Street, attacked helicopters have swarmed like flies at the state fairgrounds, toppling the year's prize butter sculpture of Amelia Earhart, I do say. Now, the Kansans stood their ground armed to the teeth, like they did during the border wars of the 1850s, when it was Missouri bushwhackers and Confederate guerrillas come to sack their town. So we get this introduction where it explains what exactly has been happening, how the townsfolk have been reacting. They're good people. They stood up against these invaders. Ray Shagul and his Lazarus Corporation will not prevail if they have anything to do with it. However, they have a little help. Yes, and that is Superman. Look at this double-page spread. Ad astra per aspera, to the stars through difficulty. So began the Battle of Kansas. Look at it. He is going hell for leather. I love this Superman. I absolutely love it. So there we go. Now, while he's battling all these guys, these forces are becoming quite overwhelming at the time. Superman is trying to protect the whole of Kansas, so he can't be everywhere at once. He's burning himself out. He isn't recharging, you know, he isn't doing that thing where, you know, goes and gets the sunlight, keeps his power. He feels that if he splits for 1 second, someone could die, something bad could happen. So he is really, really pushing himself to the absolute limits. Anyway, when the soldiers decide to paratroop in the Peacemakers onto the Jay Hawker Community Baseball Field, right, blockades have been established on every highway and hiking trail in and out of town. So what does Supes do? Well, he takes on the entire might of this army, like I say, tanks, right, attack planes, you name it. But he decides that there's one thing he can do, right, and that is to ask Sol his cape, you know, his special tech cape that can do all sorts of things, to sort of let go of the protocols that he's programmed with, which is to protect Superman and form this huge barrier around Smallville. Okay, and that's what he does. Now, I'm not sure how that affects him really without his cape, right? That's an extra power, extra ability that he can utilize in battle. But that's what happens. That's what happens, because this is war, and apparently it's only just begun. So that was 6 weeks ago. That's where we are. So all the townsfolk, they are trapped. And I guess all of Lazarus' people are also trapped in there, right? Because, you know, they can't get through this protective alien red crystal wall that he's built around it. Now, Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen, they're doing what they would normally do, which is they are trying to get the message out to the real world. So they are sort of illegally broadcasting using the radio station over in Smallville, trying to get a message out. And I think they'll also start to try and form some kind of global resistance here, because I think Superman to them is a symbol, right? Not only is he a powerful being, but he's a symbol of hope. He always has been, right? That's been Superman's shtick since day one. And I think they believe that if they can get word out to the outside world, it will bring help towards them, maybe, but also it might start an uprising of some kind. You know, it might give the rest of the world this symbol, this hope, this person to look up to and stand up and change things. Anyway, that's what I got from it. Now, of course, because Lazarus have all their tech, as soon as they start broadcasting, it won't be long before the Lazarus Corps starts sending troops to the location. That's exactly what happens. So they've got to get out of there. So they jump out They jump on their horses, of course, and they are pursued by these peace mechs, which look really, really cool. And this whole issue has really got a good pace to it, actually. We're getting the backstory as well, but then it flips back to the action, which is just constant. So it's really, really cool. Now, they're in trouble. They are heading towards this passageway to safety. And they're running out of time because those peace mechs are catching up. Now, we get sort of another flashback where Jimmy and the gang are talking, and they're talking about sort of, they both realized that they were working for the wrong side, and there was a moment where it all changed, and part of that change was Superman. So Superman has elicited this change in them. They realize now that, they shouldn't have been with the Omega Men, shouldn't have been with the Lazarus Corps. What's going on is terrible, and they realize now that they must do something to spread that word and, help everyone else out. And Lois Lane, she's there doing her thing. Now, she's much more badass in this book, actually. I really like that, actually. She's much more badass. So back to the action. You see, it just jumps back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Of course, they're in trouble. And I love the art here because you can really feel that missile being fired from that shoulder mech's missile launcher. You can just feel the path it's taken. Like, it honestly feels like it's coming towards me. Very 3D. The art is beautiful in this book. It is growing on me every single issue. I love it. But unfortunately, they go down. Okay. They go down, or rather, Lana goes down, I think. No, it's Lewis. It's Lewis. I think Lewis has gone down, and they keep running. That she's saying, just go without us. Don't let the mechs get through there because it will put everyone else in jeopardy. But of course, no, these are heroes, and they turn back to try and save her, but it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late. Oh no, what's going to happen? Well, Superman turns up, of course, and he punches his way through that mech, and you see it go down, and he is absolutely hammering on it. And this really solidifies them that if there's a right side to pick, it's going to be Superman because he does the right thing. Now, we get another flashback. There's a lot of jumping around, but it definitely adds context to everything. And I like this, actually. I think if we had enough 5 issues of day 1, day 2, day 3 of the siege and everything else, it would have got boring. So I like the fact this has jumped forward because getting to the meat of the bones, we've had the salad, now give us the meat. So they are they're in a mine that Superman himself has basically drilled to make a safe place for everybody. He set up water, he set up a sort of minimal electricity coming in. So he set them up so they're out of danger, and they're deep enough so that those munitions that Lazarus are firing down at the ground, or the explosions, won't get to him, basically. He's doing his best to keep these people safe, but he's also doubting himself. This whole book, or rather this whole issue, is him doubting himself. He doesn't believe that people even like him. He believes they fear him because, he is an alien. He is very, very powerful. He doesn't believe that there's any love, let's just say, maybe, So he feels, I guess, unworthy, I guess. I don't know. And he also believes that he's put them all in danger and he should have just stayed quiet because since he sort of showed himself to the world, that's why all these people are in danger. He never come back to Smallville, and he feels responsible for bringing Lazarus Corp to their doorstep. So he is struggling mentally with what's going on. Now, anyway, while they're in the crowd, this chappie here, Jed Cochran, the mailman, says, listen, I'm really, really sorry. I used to deliver mail for the Kents. So when you first came here, I was the one who reported you to Lazarus. And you can see that Supes is a bit angry about this. Remember, he's still sort of is he early teens here? Maybe early 20s, maybe. So he's still got that sort of angst. He hasn't really grown into the full sort of knowledgeable man that would understand how to deal with these situations. A lot of emotions running around. Anyway, the mailman here, he says, listen, my family would be dead if it wasn't for you. I'm really sorry. I didn't understand at the time. I'd like to apologize. Is there anything I can do to help? Just let me know. And he extends his hand to shake Superman's hand. And Superman doesn't accept it. I thought, oh, what's going to go here? And in his brain, you can hear his sort of, it's like the little devil on his shoulder, like, tear his arm off, melt the skin from his bones, hurl him into the sun. But no, with a little prompt here from Lois, Cal, he realizes he has to do the right thing, rise above it, be the better man, understand that just like the people back on his planet, they were forced into doing things that they wouldn't want to do. So he puts his hand out and they shake hands. And while he's doing it, he's still fighting the urge, don't crush his hand. But he says to himself, this isn't my home. I have no home. I fight for strangers who fear me. I am nothing and no one. So again, he doesn't have any self-worth, any value. I think this is going to be one of those books where, he sort of turns and he sees the people look up to him and share the love for him, and he sort of becomes who he's supposed to be. Maybe this is where we get that sort of bluer suit appearing later on. I don't know. He says, I'm only here to bleed. So he believes that his presence here is just to suffer. It's pretty sad. Now back to Ra's al Ghul and his daughter. Okay, and they're trying to penetrate this crystal wall that's been formed by Sol, Superman's sort of techno cape, let's just call it. And they've got an idea. They've got an idea. But while they're chatting, they say, where's Brainiac? We need more of his kryptonite if we're going to bring this alien to his knees. And Ra's al Ghul says, Brainiac is otherwise occupied. What's he up to? Might come in later. And I have my own plans for the remaining kryptonites. We'll have to employ other means of strengthening our army. And she says, you mean, yes, Talia, fetch your God box. Now, the God box, I'm going to take a little time out here. Just hold on with me just 1 minute, because I want to explain, if you don't know, what these God boxes are, because I had a rough idea of what they did and what they could do, not being a huge DC fan. So I did a little Google, and this is what I got. Okay, in the DC universe, a father box is the Apocalypsan counterpart to a mother box. So I guess the mother box is the version in the sort of mainline DC universe, right? The term God box is a more general name sometimes used for these mysterious and powerful artifacts, because they've called it the God box here as well. Now, the origin, father boxes are living, sentient computers created by the new gods of Apocalypse. Okay, unlike the benevolent mother boxes of New Genesis, father boxes are malevolent and pure evil. Of course, because we've got this sort of yin and yang with this sort of absolute universe and the normal universe, the good, the bad. I like that. They harness the power of the anti-life equation and the negative energy of the source. A primary function of a father box is to corrupt its user, twisting their physical and mental state to serve the will of Darkseid and his Apocalypsan horde abilities. Now, these boxes do quite a lot, right? So they possess a vast array of powers, including omni-knowledge, accessing all accumulating knowledge of the new gods, including past, present, and future events, matter and energy manipulation, the ability to rearrange matter, create weapons or armor, and heal severe wounds, often by integrating the user with technology, as seen with Cyborg. Teleportation, opening a stealthier version of boom tubes called hush tubes for near undetectable transport across galaxies and dimensions, and mind control and telepathy, influencing the minds of others and protecting the user from mental attacks. So these are super powerful things, right? So it's pretty, well, it's bad luck for the good guys that Ra's al Ghul and the Lazarus Corporation have one. Anyway, let's get back to this. It's time to let the hand of the Omega, or Omega, depending where you live, guide the way. And that's what they do. And then we jump back to now, okay, where Supes is fighting with this piece of mech. And he says, the mechs keep getting stronger, infused with the power of Talia's mysterious father box. Behind every punch is a growling whisper that scorches my ears. Lazarus has been sending storm clouds for weeks, smothering the sun. Its forces raid Smallville in waves at all hours. Lazarus does not sleep, so neither do I. And you can see him here, just, I mean, hell for leather, like, the action in this is incredible. Like, you can see the pain in his face where he's blasting the hell out of everything. I'm really, this is like the third time I've read this. I'm enjoying it even more now just doing the review. Anyway, he blasts this mech, it goes down, and the people, or the peacemakers, who aren't very good people, they're in there and they're going to burn up. But Superman still does the right thing. He doesn't let them die. Remember that, because they tried to make him kill earlier on, okay? And Superman had to make a choice. And that's the choice he made. So it's really, really subtle that Jason Aaron's put it in here to show, hey, he's still not killing. So he blows with his super cold breath, okay, and he cools the flames down, and he tells them to go sit in the swill at the pig farm, all right, and think about what you've done, and he says, go. So he doesn't kill them, which is really good. I'm glad they put that in there, because it reinforces the previous arcs. Anyway, we find out that his eyes feel like gaping wounds, lungs full of razor blades. Need to leap above the clouds, bask in the sunlight. Okay, so those storm clouds there not only sort of make it harder for the resistance to move, but blocking the sun means that he's not recharging his sort of Kryptonian power, AA batteries, whether it, his power source, let's just say. And that's not good. So there's a lot of really good thought going in how to combat Superman. Anyway, he says, but there are houses burning on Langmore Road, warships on the Arkansas. Okay, on the Arkansas, warships on the Arkansas. Okay, need to move the Robinsons' cows to a safer pasture. So he's thinking about all these things. Like I said earlier, there can't be a minute where he thinks for himself, does something to help himself, because he believes someone else will suffer. So he's going as hell for leather as he can, without any rest, without stopping, 24/7, not recharging. You can see it is having a toll. You see there his eyes are still red from all the sort of eye beaming. It's really cool. And she's saying, listen, you need to do something about this, even if Superman has limits. And he's trying to convince her, but she, or rather he, will not just listen. He will not listen. No, he won't. So he says, anyone heard the signals you've been sending out? Like, because he's like, we need help. She's like, I don't know. No, I guess not yet. So then we'll both keep doing what we have to do. Won't be. So he's sort of putting hurdles up and excuses not to sort of just take care of himself. And the silly thing is, maybe if he took care of himself a little bit more, he'll last longer, he'll be stronger. So he's kind of putting everyone at risk at the same time as trying to help them. He said, the world will know about Smallville, no matter what it takes. They'll know about you. It's your story that will change everything. I believe that. I know it because it changed. It's just about to say it changed her, of course, because he is this symbol of hope. So he will rise and help the world, I guess. But while that's happening, something goes really, really wrong. Sol starts crumbling and he starts turning purple. So where was Brainiac? Well, Brainiac has been hacking into Sol and using Sol against them now. I loved this little twist. I loved it. Brainiac says, Sol is gone, Superman. No more will you have him whining in your ear, holding you back. You're free now, thanks to Brainiac. And you see him there looking terribly evil. And all the red starts turning to purple to show that Brainiac's infiltrated it and taken it over. And we have a huge problem now. A huge problem. As you can see, Lazarus forces have broken through now because of this. These little prisons are forming up around everybody because Brainiac's utilizing Sol, and they're in a whole world of trouble. And Superman goes down, as you can see, where he's hit with this sort of purple, I don't know, energy weapon. I'm not too sure about that, but it's something to do with the God box, I guess. Something to do with maybe using Sol against him. So maybe that's what they've done. They've harnessed his own sort of cape against him. Not quite sure, but it looks cool as hell. I'm sure if I read it a fourth time, it looks Spain. Anyway. Again, he realizes that he's in trouble here. So the world will never trust me. I'll always be an other to these people. It doesn't matter what I tell them. Okay, so he's doubting. And then you hear sort of Lois sort of narrate on top of that. If he would just tell us who he is, stop hiding, people will be amazed. They see him for the hero he is. And he goes back and says, I've told them too much. Should never have mentioned Krypton. Should have stayed hidden. Smallville is suffering because I was careless, because I showed the world something I cared about. Never do that again. And she comes back with, what does he care about? Who is he? Does he even know? How do I help him to know? And he says, never again. This world needs Superman more than anything, but that isn't me. So you've got these two things, these two sort of opposite sort of ends of the spectrum here, where he doesn't believe himself, but he is the key to their salvation. And she believes if he just sort of let everyone in, relax, become one of us, realize that he's part of us, people will realize, he's a great being. I love it. This sort of duality of thought. Anyway, he gets hit with this blast and he goes down, and Ratio Girl arrives. And we see what he did with that kryptonite. He's made himself a badass. I'm going to say the mother effing kryptonite sword. And he says, you will kneel before Ratio Girl in the blood of those you love and beg to be my son, because he wants to turn Superman to be his sort of right-hand man. Oh, I got to take a deep breath. Because this was good. I read it the first time. I sat in a cafe with my vanilla chai latte. I know, I'm almost a hipster. I'm not. I just discovered them the other day. They're tasty as hell, right? And I read it. I thought, yeah, it was all right. That's pretty cool. And I came back. I thought, look, I need to read it again before I make a video. And by the time I got through the second thing, I thought, actually, it was really, really good. And just by the end of this review, just going through it over again, this issue was absolutely packed. You've got the emotional turmoil that everyone's feeling, right? You've got these two great forces coming together, Superman and Ratio Girl. You've got his own tech being turned against him. You've got the God boxes, really starting to play some huge part. I think that's where that purple energy came from. I think that purple energy is where they're getting that sort of weaponization to take him down, and how they took over Sol, I guess. It's all got to do with those father boxes, God boxes. That's pretty cool as well. So I love it. There's nothing bad about this book. It's really good. It also shows that he's becoming a better person, with forgiveness, okay? Because he was very unforgiving, like for a lot of this book. And you can see that he's forgiven this postman, even though he did the terrible thing. He's like caring about these people more. He's starting to become one of them, but he doesn't believe he's one. He's on the outskirts. We got some great mech. We got some great fights. All the characters are feeling fully rounded now, because we're 13 issues in, right? So we should be. And it just feels good. It feels like there is a war going on in Smallville. I love it. I really, really love it more than I thought I would. So for me, this has been an absolute cracker of an issue. Honestly, I cannot wait to find out what happens next. I love the book. I think you should too. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. And we will see you in the comments in the next video after you've hit the like button. Hopefully hit the subscribe button too. So take care, guys. We'll see you soon.